All right, let's get into it. Today, we are peeling back the curtain on a topic that's, well, it's shocking, it's powerful, and it's way more complicated than you might think. So get ready for the history lesson you definitely didn't get in school. Yep, we are talking about swear words. But this isn't just about being naughty for the fun of it. Oh no. We're going to dig into their ancient origins, their big, loud entrance into pop culture, and the pretty fascinating science behind why we even use them in the first place.
You know, it's a great question, isn't it? I mean, what gives these specific sounds so much power? How can they be so controversial, so forbidden, and yet, let's be honest, so satisfying to say? Let's figure it out.
Okay, so we've got to start with the undisputed heavyweight champion of curse words. And believe me, its story is a lot more ancient and a lot more scholarly than you'd ever guess. For the longest time, we all thought we knew when the F word first showed up in English. But guess what? Recent discoveries are totally rewriting the history books. We're talking new findings that push its origins back nearly 2 whole centuries. And it's not just a date change, it actually reframes the word. Turns out, some of the earliest uses were in legal documents, suggesting it wasn't always this taboo bomb, but sometimes just a very blunt, descriptive term.
And this isn't just some random theory, you know. This is the serious work of lexicographers. They're basically professional language detectives. People like Jesse Scheibler, who wrote a whole book called, you guessed it, The F Word, they dedicate their entire careers to this painstaking work of tracing words through time. And the amount of new evidence is just staggering. We're talking about over 150 antedatings. That's the cool term for finding an earlier use of a word than anyone knew about before. And each one helps build a clearer picture of how this infamous word grew up and spread. And that journey takes us from dusty old archives to a much, much more modern stage. So, let's leave the dusty history books behind and jump forward, way forward, to the bright lights of Hollywood and the buzzing amps of a rock concert. How in the world did swearing go mainstream? Just think about the massive shift in movies. Back in Hollywood's golden era, an actor like James Cagney could be the toughest tough guy on screen, and he'd do it all without a single curse word. Now, fast forward to the 1980s, Robert De Niro in Raging Bull. His performance is legendary for its raw, gritty, profanity-fueled realism. That change right there tells you everything about how much our culture has shifted.
Then you've got music, which is a whole other ballgame. A sweary band name isn't just to shock your parents. It's a brand. It's a statement. It acts like a filter, right? It grabs the attention of the people who get it and serves as a warning label for everyone else. And some bands, well, they really, really lean into it. As The Guardian put it, if you're gonna call your band something like, say, maggot-stuffed cunt, it kind of makes sense that you also make satanically ugly music. The name is basically a promise of what you're about to hear. Okay, so we've covered the history, we've covered the culture, but that still leaves the biggest question of all. Why do we do it? What's going on in our brains? For that, my friends, we turn to science. You know, the first thing science tells us is that swearing is incredibly versatile. We usually link it with anger, right? Like when you stub your toe. But the research shows we also use it to express pure joy, to literally increase our tolerance for pain, and even to bond with our friends. It's kind of the Swiss Army knife of language. And make no mistake, studying swear words is a serious academic field. As the Netflix series History of Swear Words pointed out, you've got cognitive scientists, linguists, historians, all these brilliant people dedicating their work to understanding profanity. So by studying these words, what are they really studying? They're studying us. They're uncovering these incredible insights into how our brains handle language and emotion, and what these taboo words tell us about our culture, about what we hold sacred and what we push away. So now that we get the power behind these words, let's talk about how to actually use that power. Not just as an angry outburst, but as a deliberate craft, an art form even. This quote from the Story Empire blog just nails it. For anyone who tells stories, writers, filmmakers, you name it, a swear word isn't just filler. When it's used the right way, it can reveal a ton of emotion and add so much depth to a character's voice in a single, powerful moment. So how do you do it right? Well, it kind of boils down to a few key ideas. First, you've got to know your audience. What works in a gritty war movie probably won't fly in a kid's cartoon. Second, it has to feel authentic to the character. A stressed-out teenager swears differently than a seasoned sailor. And that leads to the third and most important rule. Use it to make a point. And this is maybe the biggest takeaway. Moderation is everything. Like any powerful tool, if you overuse it, it gets dull. Think about it. A character who swears in every single sentence, after a while it's just noise. But a character who's quiet the whole story and then drops one perfectly timed F-bomb, that has impact. That lands. Overkill just weakens the story. And that brings us to one last really interesting question to chew on. In a world where these words are everywhere, in our music, our movies, our everyday chats, are they losing their shock value? Are we slowly diffusing the very verbal bombs we love to drop? It's definitely something to think about.